Hello, this is Gary Wishon, the Disgruntled Heathen. You know, being a history geek, it's easy to spot the fucking obvious. I mean, sometimes history is just a revolution. Same shit rolls around again. Different names, different place, same story. Misinformation is often spread with outright lies, half-baked truths, and phony evidence. In one of my previous videos, I pointed out the man that never was. It's a British operation where they dropped a dead body into the coast, off the coast of Spain, with a briefcase full of loaded misinformation. It worked. The video I'm talking about is Spotting the Obvious. It's on my page. I pointed out that in time, thanks to the war in Ukraine, the Republicans are going to do this again. And they did. Trump actually said in an interview that he thinks Putin now will talk about how Joe Biden had some corruption happen through his son, how the family's all corrupt and dangerous and yada, yada, yada. Leave it to fucking Trump to turn to a sociopath like Putin to help him out. Is there a dictator he never liked? I mean, seriously. This love affair Republicans have with Putin is obscene. It's absurd. It's disturbing. To those Republicans, especially the ones who gave Putin a standing ovation in the Conservative Political Action Committee meeting, I would like to say I was surprised. I want to say I was surprised that they gave him a standing ovation and started shouting Putin, Putin, Putin when he was mentioned. I'm not. My opinion of the Republican Party can't get any lower. It's already subterranean. I really believe that they want to take Putin as an example of how to behave here in America. To all those dangerously psychotic motherfuckers, let me point something out to you. What Putin is doing right now is like trying to squeeze water in his hand. He's trying to squeeze Ukraine. It's slipping out through his fingers. So in an effort to help his efforts in Ukraine, he's diverting soldiers from Georgia that he's been occupying, Chechnya that he's been occupying. You see, he works on the principle that people are stunned by psychotics. See, a good person spends their life not wanting to engage in psychotic battle, doesn't want to have the feeling that comes with having to defend themselves to the point of murder. Most common people, most sane people just want to live happily. They will go out of their way to avoid violence. That gives this dangerous psychotics like Putin a window of opportunity, and if he can achieve his goals while that window is open, he can do anything he wants, provided he tries it while the window is open. Now the window is shut. Ukraine is kicking his ass. The myth of the invincible Russian army has been brought out in the daylight, and it's not living up to its reputation. All the forces he's having to throw at the Ukrainians is coming up short. I mean, the people involved in the operation can't stand it. He's lost, what, 20,000 people by now? No, 40,000. Probably up to 60 by now. The tighter he squeezes, the more he loses. The good people of Ukraine are standing up to him. His opportunity is gone. They will not go down without taking some motherfuckers with them. They might actually win this fucking outcome. Don't doubt for a second that even though the NATO is talking like they want to appease Putin or only go so far, that's the public face. NATO has a long history, at least members of NATO have a long history of backdoor deals. Look at the Flying Tigers. Franklin Delano Roosevelt set up the Flying Tigers in China. It was American aviators fighting against the Japanese. He quietly recruited, quietly gained the munitions, the arms, quietly sent it over to China, and had them fighting on behalf of the Chinese. Why wouldn't that be happening now? Third-party companies, shell companies, could be getting all sorts of things on behalf of the Ukrainians. And if they get discovered and exposed, only thing anybody has to say is, wow, those Ukrainians are smart. Meanwhile, it was really the Chinese, meanwhile, it's really the CIA, MI6, Mossad. Any number of organizations could do it. Any number of organizations, intelligence organizations, and in any number of countries that don't like what's going on could be doing that. The tighter he squeezes, the more Putin loses. And as more soldiers leave, like Chechnya and Georgia, what's going to happen then when the numbers of psychotic motherfuckers who's oppressing people and the oppressed are no longer even? What if the numbers of the oppressed outnumber the oppressors? What happens then? The tighter he squeezes, the more he loses. And dear Republicans, if you ever try that shit here, if you ever try that shit here, your actions, your behaviors has exposed you for what you are. The window is shut. You think what the Ukrainians are doing to the Russians are impressive? Try that here, see what happens. I, for one, will go down swinging. Goodbye.